In honor of Matt's infiltration, apparently, of the tax day tea parties.
It's a manly guide to infiltrating. Well, there's been a lot of talk recently about infiltrating. See, sometimes you'll be an infiltrator even if you don't want to be. This is called unintentional infiltrating, and it can be pretty awesome. Funny story. The other day, I was at a Tea Party rally in Salisbury, Maryland. I went because I heard the Tea Parties were all about free speech, free thought, and constitutionalism. But it was my mistake. I didn't realize I was only allowed to speak in self-congratulatory slogans. I thought a call to real action and real change would be welcomed by these American patriots. What I didn't realize is they want to hear everyone's opinion unless your opinion is that you shouldn't vote Republican. The folks in the crowd showed their undying devotion to the First Amendment by turning their back on me, shouting me down, and ushering me off the stage. What patriots. But I deserved it, I guess. Who was I to think I had any right as a young person to voice my opinion about the world that they effed up and I'll have to live in? Thanks a lot. People are saying to me is that I was just trying to get attention, so on and so forth. Okay, so what if I said that about your whole damn movement? It's just about trying to get attention. You know, you stand there and you just want people to look at you. What if I said that? It'd be rather presumptuous of me, wouldn't it? Yeah, you brought a camera. So what? Let me ask you this. If you had a camera, same as you did, and I got up there and just said a bunch of agreeing things, and I took part in the Agree Fest, and everyone clapped, and it was just this wonderful time, and I put that on YouTube.
Would anyone watch it?
They wouldn't, but let's say they did. Let's say that got 13,000 hits on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Would Right Coast Girl be saying, oh, he's just trying to get attention? No, it's only because I disagree with you that you're going to say that I'm getting attention instead of trying to address the actual points that I brought up. Now, in the comments under this particular blog, there's this one guy, Bill Livingston, leaves a few comments. At one point he says, if you can't wear a suit, at least go up there, don't go up there like Chong with your hat backwards and ixnay on the ong hits bay. Okay. Oh, look at this whippersnapper with his hat on backwards. Let's dismiss everything he has to say. Did I want publicity for the video? Yes, because I believe there's a message to it.
Yes.
Just like I said with the Tea Parties, you guys want publicity too, don't you? Because you think you have a message. Well, my question I was trying to ask you is, what is your message? And don't tell me that we want limited government and we want liberty. Don't you understand that that is as broad a demand as the Obama bots that demanded hope and change? It's a broad thing. I'm talking specifics.
Yes.
Specifics. I did want to address the first part of the video. And a lot of these people now are trying to discredit what I said by saying that in the beginning I was urging violence.
Yeah.
Well, if you were in the audience and you really thought I was urging violence, why did you not boo me until I said don't vote for Sarah Palin?
Yeah.
That makes you seem worse. Don't you understand that? Now, as far as that goes, though, was I urging violence? No. Did I say the word violence?
Yes.
Yeah. Did I make a point about how, at a time in history, violence was necessary? Yeah, I sure did. Look, I think you know that if I thought that we should urge violence, I would urge violence. If I thought that violence needed to be urged, I would urge it. But that's not what I'm saying. I didn't advocate violence. I don't think violence is the answer. I don't think it would get anything accomplished. I don't think our problems right now would be solved with violence. In fact, clearly they would not be solved with violence. But what I was trying to say, if you want extreme change, you must take extreme action. What you have to do is look at the situation and decide what exactly you want to have happen. And then you have to honestly approach it and say, what do we have to do to make this happen? But it is, in fact, true that you have to make people hurt. And I'm sorry, but holding signs and yelling loudly will not make anyone hurt, and it's not going to get anything changed. Calling your congressman probably makes you feel good about yourself, and I'm very happy for you. But that doesn't really get anything done. And you're not going to change the system by calling a congressman, and you're not going to change the system by voting out a few incumbents, and you're not going to change the system by voting in Republicans. I think we're at the point now where we have to purge the system of all parties, okay? And everyone says, well, it's naive to vote for an independent. All right, well, if that's the attitude you're going to take, that any measure of extreme change is just naive, then what are you doing? What's the point? What is the point of even trying? Most people will admit that we've been on this path not for a year because of Obama, not for 10 years because of Bush, not for 20 years because of Clinton, not Reagan, not Carter. We've been on this path for 100 years or more. We probably lost our republic after Reconstruction. If you want actual change that isn't going to reverse itself in 10 years or 5 years or in 1 year, then you do have to look at extreme action. And I will tell you the extreme action that I am now referring to. What needs to happen, I think, first and foremost, and it starts with taxes, doesn't it? It started that way with the revolutionaries. And by the way, you go to these tea parties, you got people there literally dressed up like it's a costume party, dressed up like our founding fathers, dressed up like Samuel Adams and so forth. They're the ones that keep hearkening back to the revolutionary times. You're the ones, Tea Party people, that are comparing yourself in a not subtle way at all to the revolutionaries.
But
So-
then you forget what they did to accomplish their goal.
Right. I'm saying, okay, you guys are dressing up like revolutionaries. You're calling this the Tea Party. Don't you understand what they did? Even the Tea Party was an illegal act. It was trespassing and vandalism. Don't you get that? Okay, you don't compare yourself to them because you're not willing to do what they did. I'm not referring to the violent aspect of that. I'll tell you what I'm saying. I don't believe, personally, that anything is going to change until we abolish the income tax. Because, number one, the income tax defies every principle of the Constitution. I think it was pretty clear that...
But that's boring and takes work.
Right, exactly. I think it was pretty clear from what our founding fathers said. The government is not allowed to tax you for existing. Essentially, you don't owe the government anything. All this talk about your debt to society and nonsense like that, no. That's not the American Republican principle. It's not. Pay your debt to society. No. Wrong. The government has turned into this big, bureaucratic, hideous monster, like the Trapper Keeper in South Park with, you know what I'm talking about?
That's your analogy.
Yeah, like Cartman when he bonded with this Trapper Keeper in South Park. So in order to cut it down, you have to stop feeding. And that would be to abolish the income tax. The income tax is responsible for about 40% of the money that the government takes from us. But if we get back to the government only performing the roles that are specifically outlined in the Constitution, and them doing that and that alone, I'm just saying everybody admits and complains about how we waste trillions of dollars, okay? If you're saying that we're wasting all this money, then what are you worried about them getting less to waste? Go back to the basics. I mean, there was a time when if someone couldn't afford health care, there were doctors who stepped up to the plate and said, we'll give health care to people for free out of charity if they're poor and they can't afford it. I mean, look, if we really believe in the American spirit, if you really believe that Americans are exceptional people and that they will band together and help each other, then let's prove it. Prove it. If we're better as Americans, let's prove it. Because letting the government do it for you does not make Americans better. The way it is right now, there's no proof to me that Americans right now are better than anyone else in the world because we expect the government to do everything for us. So let's cut the government out of a lot of this stuff and let us do it for ourselves and see if we still can. I think we can.
You've got a long fight ahead of you. Good luck with that.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for talking, buddy.
All right, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where if you give them less, they will figure out a way to use it. All these inflated programs will just cease to be, and that will be that. Time to do some infiltrating.
You know what? Let me say this.
Yeah.
Why can't we change the world? Why not you? Why not me? Why not right now? Why not tomorrow?
Why not today?
Why not?
Why not?
I don't see why not.
You know what? I know we've already come up with a campaign slogan for you for the Georgetown mayoral race here, but maybe that's it. Why not? Matt Walsh. Why not?
I'll tell you why not, because he's a punk with a backwards hat.
You know, when I watch the video and I see call that old man a senile old fart, part of me's like, I wish you didn't do that. And then the other part of me's like, you know what? You fight fire with fire.
Yeah. Don't stoop to his level. No, I'll stoop to his level. That is one thing I guarantee. I will stoop to your level. I absolutely will. You know why? Because it's more fun that way. And why shouldn't I?
You know what real people do? They stoop.
Yeah.
They stoop to other people's levels. Because you could have stood up there and tried to stay like in this high and mighty position. But you know what? It brought levity to the situation. It even made the people who were booing and jeering like snicker and giggle just a little bit right before they got back mad. They got back to their anger right away.
The funny thing about these Tea Party people and a lot of the liberals is that they actually agree. And they don't even know it. They're very much the same. They're the same in that they don't really want to talk about real things.
Well, and in a perfect world, they would understand that they are going to disagree on fundamental things, but in a perfect world, they would come together and agree on the things that they agree on and actually make a difference because we all want it.
Coming together is great. If you don't want to, then whatever, screw off. And you really are making a mistake, a huge mistake, if you dismiss the younger crowd. Think about it. If you're in your 60s or something, 50s, 60s, and I'm not trying to paint a broad brush here, you were part of the generation that screwed everything up. Don't try to stop us from actually trying to make it better. Don't do that.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing to do.
And if you feel guilty and maybe you weren't involved in the destruction of this nation, and if you were, maybe you feel a little guilty about it. Empower us. Help us empower ourselves. Don't kick us in the teeth because you didn't like what we said and because you were wrong in the first place.
Well, it's 9:57. We'll head on out of here, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless America.
And God bless you. Until tomorrow. Goodbye.